We're going to talk about the 3 big mistakes that people make when they're trying to build their own community. I guarantee you're probably making one of these 3 mistakes trying to build your community right now. I'm Lucas Root, co-founder of Ecstatic Way, the host of the Elements of Community podcast. This is Mike Lloyd, who has decided to join us for a live coaching session. Mike, tell us about you.
Hello, my name is Mike Lloyd. I have blue eyes. I'm 5'9". And I have been teaching photographers the art and business of boudoir photography since 2012. And I have failed miserably at building a sizable community. I feel like I'm very smart. I know what I'm doing. My students have seen success, and I've struggled to scale that through community. And in filming these videos, I said, I hear what you're saying, and I'm making all of those mistakes. So can we just film a quick coaching sesh with me so that you can learn from all the ways I'm effing this up so we all can make more money? And here we are.
Awesome. First mistake. I actually love these because it actually drives to the core of every single point we've talked about in every single one of these videos. The first mistake, you're taking all of your social media content and you're pasting it into your Facebook group.
It was not making that mistake because
yes, thank you.
I don't actually have social media for my photography education beyond my Facebook group. So I'm serving different markets there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, one down. If this is you, raise your hand.
So why is that a problem?
Every single one of the people that's sitting in your Facebook group came to your Facebook group in order to go to a deeper level of intimacy with you. It's intentional. They have opted in with you. And what you're doing is you're showing them that there is no deeper level of intimacy available to them. You've said, this is what I share with the entire world, and I'm sharing the same thing with you, and like it or leave.
And it kind of would make me wonder if I followed you on Instagram and I went to your Facebook group and it's literally the same words. Like, why am I in 2 places? I don't need this. I'm out.
Mistake number 2. You've realized that just taking your regular social media content, or in the case that serving 2 different audiences, you don't have that content available, and posting it into your Facebook group is not working, and you decided to change strategies. So you went to one of the community building influencers and you bought their little $10 package that gives you 101 strategies on exactly how to create more engagement in your group. You're opening up their little Trello board and you're copying the question out of the Trello board and pasting it into your group.
Well, I didn't do that, but I had my VA do that. And
arguably
the same. I know. I'm feeling a lot better about myself having this conversation, honestly, because I didn't buy anyone's program with all these prompts. But I sat down in a coffee shop for hours with my laptop and I wrote out questions that I thought would be engaging to my audience. Teaching photographers, we love to talk about photography gear. I personally don't.
Hold on. You did all that and you could have just paid $10 for it?
Yes. Yeah, I would try to start these conversations in ways like, are you a Canon or are you a Nikon? Do you shoot RAW? Do you shoot JPEG? Things that are very superficial and really no one cared to talk about because they've already talked about them 1,000 times everywhere else on the internet.
Mm-hmm. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Kind of the point here is when you were copying your own actual content from other social media channels and pushing it to your Facebook group, or if you're copying someone else's content from a Trello board or your own other content from a notepad.
Sure. Yeah.
And pushing it to your Facebook group. In either case, it doesn't really matter if you're putting a question mark at the end of your content. It's still just pushing content.
We've identified the first 2 mistakes that I'm clearly nailing. What is the third way that I'm probably effing this up?
You've realized that you need a deeper level of intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
And to create that, you have a VA doing it.
I'm not having somebody write my content, though. I'm still creating all of that. She's the one scheduling it. I don't post consistently enough because I don't want to, but I want to have the conversations. I don't want to be spending all my time in the group creating those posts. I would rather it feel more real for me, which I know will then feel more real for them. And I haven't figured out how to do that yet. Now that I've figured out the right way to create really superficial conversations that no one wants to have, how do I build that deeper level of intimacy?
I love that. Yes. Unfortunately, the path forward looks Challenging. What people are going to do is they're going to make the exact same...
It's the only life I know.
I'm here with you, me too. I actually was telling you this a couple of hours ago, that this will now be my 15th business. Challenge, I am here for it. Let's do that. The next mistake that people make is they realize that there needs to be a deeper level of intimacy, an actually facilitated conversation between the community spirit and the community members. And what they try to do is they try to automate that in the way that business owners know how. Hire a VA to speak on behalf of the spirit of the community, which most people think is the leader. And let me invite you to see that it's not.
Are you telling me it's not Taylor Swift messaging me back on Instagram?
I mean, you're kind of a badass. It may very well be Taylor Swift, but for everyone else, it probably isn't.
That's one of my life goals, by the way, is to date her long enough to get a song about me.
Oh.
Yeah. Swiftie, if you're out there listening, how do we do that then?
There are a couple of different tactics to accomplish this strategy. What I want to caution you against is taking these tactics and trying to find a way to automate the tactics, because the answer is not that. Simply speaking, this is your sales and marketing. When you have a really powerfully built community with deep levels of engagement, this is going to turn into more sales than you ever dreamed and more profit than you ever could imagine.
Correct.
It's powerful. Every single small business owner, especially solopreneurs, should be spending 20 to 40% of their time on their sales and marketing channel. If this is the path forward, if this is your sales and marketing channel, and trust me when I tell you it should be,
yeah,
then you should be spending 20 to 40% of your time building community, actively inside the community. What that means is that you need to find a way to facilitate that conversation between you and your community that's interesting to you. I'll tell you why. That's repeatable to you and that's authentic to you. Some people want to have a live every single day. So they tell their community, I'm going to go live at 8 o'clock, hop on, have conversations with me, I'll answer questions, let's do this. If that works for you, do that. It is a tactic to accomplish the strategy, but the strategy is you want these people to be actively engaged with the spirit of the community. And until the spirit of the community grows to the point where it's acting outside of just you, that must be you.
That's the part I skipped. Building the spirit of the community. Humans in the room. And I'm trying to figure out how to scale this because that's what entrepreneurs do. And I missed that whole middle step.
Amazing. I love it.
Cool. I know this works well. There's two other educators in my same space. And one of them, it blows my mind every time I go into that group. She will literally post something like, hey, I've almost hit my sales goal for the month. Who wants to get me there? And people will start screenshotting the receipts of her courses just so that she can hit her sales goals. And I'm like, you're just giving someone money just because they asked you to, like without even the exchange. And that blows my mind. And it's amazing. And I want it so bad.
But there is an exchange. She's been showing up day after day, week after week, month after month, loving on the people that are in the room so actively that the spirit has grown bigger than her.
Correct. Right. She's at the flywheel stage where she doesn't do that now not like she used to in the past.
Right.
And so, yeah, the spirit is keeping that group going, and I'm trying to skip that step, and I guess I can't.
Can't skip that step.
Shoot. This would be like hiring someone to go to all your kids' t-ball games and cheer because you need someone there to cheer for them, but you don't feel like doing
it. Yes.
Okay.
Let me ask you a couple of questions.
Bring it.
First question is, why did you build this group to begin with? Is it because somebody told you building a group is going to lead to more sales?
No one told me specifically, but I've observed it working for other businesses and having a place where I could continue conversations outside of direct messages or comments on an Instagram post.
The people that are there, do you actually deeply care about them being served?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Yeah, high five. What are you willing to do for each one person who's in there on a one-on-one basis to make sure that that person is served?
I don't know that I can answer that question on the spot right now. Can you give me an example?
Absolutely.
Cool.
I've talked in other videos. One of my favorite video, I talked about the analogy of Halloween. And one of the reasons I talked about it was when you go around in front of the house, you see all the decorations. That's your social content. You're pushing content out. It's decorations. There's no intimacy.
Yep.
If you tempt somebody in with candy, that's a little bit more intimate because they actually have to get close to your door and grab the candy.
Right.
I would like to suggest that the candy metaphor actually works really well here. If you offer people candy, they'll say, yes, I want to do something. I want to go closer to your door. I want to step in and experience the raging party that you've got going on inside with, bobbing for apples and drinking apple cider,
Yep.
which is awesome. You had to give them candy to bring them in.
Right.
My guess is that you've been trying to give people candy, but you're doing it in the same way as pushing content. So what I said before, if you take your content off your Trello board and dump it into your group, even though it has a question mark on it, it's still just pushing content. If you say, I want to give a 30-minute strategy call and dump it into your group, it's just candy. But you're offering them the opportunity to opt in to the next level of intimacy. Mm-hmm. They come, they have the strategy call with you. What do you do next?
I do a fair amount of these. It's a thing that I've hesitated to offer because it's a ton of time. I can't scale it.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. It's
Right?
100% true. The next step to building the spirit of your community is to build what my partner Caitlin likes to call disciples. The next step is to have somewhere between 6 and 12 people who love you so deeply that they act as you inside of your space.
Yep.
That's when the spirit starts to grow bigger than you.
I can't believe I didn't spot this before. My hand was over my mouth. That was not great production. I cannot believe I didn't spot this before. Yeah, the other photography education groups that I'm a part of all have, they're either called mentors or ambassadors or whatever their team name is, and they're people who learn from the OG photographer, indoctrinated into that system, and now they're the ones moderating the group, facilitating everything.
And they're bringing their audience in because that space is better than one they could create themselves.
100%. Yep. Some of them have their own co-branded products that they're doing as well. Neat. Okay. Do I identify a dozen people? Do I put out an application? Do I just say, hey, free strategy calls for the first 20 people who want to get on the phone with me, and I'm going to help you with your business, whatever you're struggling with right now. And then from those calls, I can kind of feel out who's going to be a good fit for this. Mm-hmm. Do I go into it with that intention? Do I let it happen organically?
Whatever way it is that you build intimacy through an open, facilitated conversation that's going to work for you. I know the 30-minute strategy call works for you. That's why that's where I went. The daily lives work for somebody else. Those people are actually having people that are showing up to their daily lives and liking and commenting and asking live questions.
Yep.
And the result of that conversation is the ones that are showing up every single day, even when they have no questions to ask, are the ones that are going to be disciples, ambassadors. For you, offer those 30-minute calls. The people that you feel deeply inclined to know, like, trust. If you want to see a video on know, like, trust, we have it linked in the show notes. The ones that you feel deeply inclined to know, like, and trust yourself, and that you notice that relationship is being reciprocated through the test that happens.
Yeah, fun fact, that know, like, trust video, it's going to change the way you look at know, like, trust, and there's a hidden component in there that everyone else is missing, and that is what I have been missing. I'm learning so much today.
I'm really glad that you did this with us. This is awesome.
Hard same, yeah.
So yes, offer a bunch of strategy calls.
Cool.
That's the one that's going to work for you. What's going to work for you might be different. So don't just take this tactic that works for Mike and run with it. You got to find the thing that lights up your soul. You started this community because it's something that you're deeply engaged in personally. You started this community because you're delighted to be engaged with those people who love that product, who love that service, who love you providing it personally. And that's true for you too. And you got to use the tactic that's going to keep you lit up, that's going to keep you coming back every single day, excited to offer that again.
Yeah. Well, you guys go ahead and wrap up this shoot. I'm going to start making some phone calls. So good. Thank you for showing me how wrong I was, but also how to move forward.
Yeah.
Because I already figured out the first part that I'm doing wrong. So,
Mike, you've been great. Thanks for joining us. To recap what we covered, make sure that you're building your community for the right reasons and that you're not trying to automate your way out of a deeper level of intimacy. The way to make sure that you're doing that is, number one, fall in love with your community first. You can't expect them to fall in love with you first. That's not the way this works. Show up, do the hard work, do it with them, do it openly, in whatever way that looks. Invest deeply in your community, and it will start to pay dividends. It's actually going to pay the interest. You're going to get the benefits of that investment, but you have to invest first. And then finally, when you're choosing a tactic to have that open conversation, daily lives, free strategy calls, whatever that tactic is for you, make sure that it's one that your passions are aligned with so that you can continue doing it over and over and over again. Remember, you're investing. And so you don't know when it's going to start paying the interest, when it's going to start paying dividends, when it's going to start turning into a profitable investment. It will. But you don't know when that's going to happen, and you need to be sustained by your passions in between now and then. If this video has been amazing for you, if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to the channel and check out our How to Build an 8-Figure Community video.